Welcome back. So we have looked at these preliminary questions like why do we dream and where do dreams come from? Now let's look at how to understand our dreams. And this is of course what you are waiting for. This is the most interesting part of our dream work. Although we will see that we also have to look at how we can use our dreams for our personal development. That's the next question. So how to understand our dreams? Well, obviously, a number of people think dreams don't have meaning at all because they often look silly at first sight, so we can't quite make sense of it. And we have to remember that we have different kinds of dreams, and most of our dream experiences are screensaver dreams that will be very difficult to make sense of and even to remember in most cases. But when we do remember, they will seem quite difficult to put in words or to make sense of them. However, we do have some more meaningful, more vivid types of dreams that we can call flash dreams that will more likely wake us up and be remembered. So these are the dreams we're going to work with. These are those that you will write down and that you can report and work with yourself also. So let's look at an example. A young man about 30, 35, 31 years old dreams about his younger brother who is 4 years younger than him. And the younger brother is holding a young child in his arms, a baby. And the dreamer feels quite a little bit jealous about his younger brother that he has a baby while he himself has not succeeded in establishing a stable relationship yet and doesn't have a baby, which he would like to have. So he feels jealous. That's the dream. So when he reports that, he feels, well, this is just talking about reality. And I tell him, no, that's possibly good news. Because if you dream about that, it possibly means that you have that part of you that is holding a baby that you don't identify with, but you can see it, and the younger brother in you is actually having a baby. Now, as a matter of fact, a few months later, he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was pregnant. And less than a year later, he had a baby. So indeed, the dream was telling him that the potential was there that he would have a baby, while he would focus on the fact that it was just reflecting reality, his jealousy towards his younger brother. So the first question we have to ask ourselves when we dream is the dream telling us something about real life out there in our wake state, or is it telling us something about our inner reality? In other words, are dreams objective, real life, or subjective, inner reality, my own perspective? Well, we can see that in most cases, our dreams talk to us about ourselves. They talk to us, they talk about us. And we will look deeper into this, seeing that, for example, when you dream about having a fight with your father, does that mean that, like Freud would have said 100 years ago, you have a subconscious tendency, drive to kill your father? Or does it mean that you are having an inner conflict with that part of you that you perceive as being the father, your father's role possibly, the father in you? Well, we will see that most cases, most dreams, again, can only make sense if you understand that they talk about your inner reality. So our dream intelligence goes and pick images in our image library, in our memories, to talk to us about our inner realities. And we have to make it clear that in most cases, all the qualities, all the aspects that the dream elements express in a dream are in fact qualities and aspects that belong to us. They reflect our inner reality. That's the first point we have to be quite clear about, and we will explore that a lot in the dream examples. The other aspect that we have to be clear about is that the dream talks to us in images. So we have to understand that it's all about metaphorical language, image talk, not straightforward. And we will have to translate images into straightforward aspects of ourselves. So let's look at these different aspects, objective or subjective, literal or metaphorical. Now, the question is, what is a metaphor? How to understand image talk? Let's take some time to look into this. Well, obviously, we use a lot of image talk in our daily language. We are used to that. And dreams are quite straightforward. This is not complicated interpretation. This is straightforward image talk. If we talk in our daily language about a piece of cake, it means something easy. You have that in Chinese also. If we talk about running into a wall, it means facing a challenge that will damage you. You can't get through it. It's going to hurt you, stop your progress. Let's look at some pictures. What do you see here? Imagine this was an image in a dream. What can you see? What can you say about it? Not interpret the image, but just what you see. You see that there are 3 people. You see that they are wearing heavy clothes. You see that it's misty, so they cannot see clearly where they are going. This mist is a metaphor for a situation where you don't see clearly where you can go, where you go. You don't have a clear perspective. Now let's look at some other images. What do you see here? Here you have a woman heavily loaded that is having to cross a river. It's dangerous. The water is wild. But there is a person, a man, ready to give her a hand and help her through. So if this were an image from a dream, you could reformulate these images as such, assuming that you were, as a dreamer, identifying yourself to the woman. You would say, I am in a process of crossing a difficult, challenging emotional experience. We know that water is related to emotions. So here we have the river. Crossing the river is crossing an emotional experience that is called wild and difficult. I feel heavily loaded in my life. However, in that difficult moment, I do feel that there is a presence, a masculine presence, that can help me out to cross this challenging moment with more ease. Now, that masculine presence might be my own masculine part. Masculine is rational, active, professional part, possibly. So my professional part, my masculine side, can help me go through the emotional experience. This is how we would understand this image. Let's look at this here. Here we see a bridge that is in the shade, and there is a traveler. So here you have a person that is starting to walk on a bridge towards another side. A bridge is a metaphor for a transition from one part of your life to a new part of your life, another side. So it's a resourceful experience, it's a resourceful tool, the bridge, because it allows you to go through the river dry and more easily than if you have to go through the water. So it's make the transition more easy. So you would understand this image as being in a transition, at the start of a transition, and the transition is fairly smooth. However, it's in the dark, so you don't see very clearly where you are going. And it's mountainous. Mountains are a metaphor for something that you have to either walk around or walk up over it. So it's challenging. It requires more effort. Mountains are a metaphor for something that is challenging and requires effort. So the environment is challenging. However, there is a lot of light. It's bright there somewhere, not right where I am here now on the bridge, but I can see that there is light coming into my life. There is a bright side. Okay? Image talk. Let's look at some more. If you dream about clouds in the sky, clouds are a metaphor for something possibly not so peaceful. Conflicts, tension. There might be rain coming up. Of course, if the clouds disappear, then the sky becomes more blue, more peaceful. But if the clouds are coming up, with possibly thunderstorm, you might prepare yourself for some difficult moments in whatever relationships you have. Here you have a body of water. We saw already, and we will come back to that, that water is very related to our emotions. So a body of water is your emotional nature. It is quite peaceful. It's light. Light means bright, sunshine. Sunny is always a metaphor for something that is more joyful, more peaceful, while rain would be more emotional. So here your emotional body, your emotional nature is at peace, although there seems to be a little wind and some clouds in the sky. So metaphorically, some troubles here and there, little things, but you can altogether overcome and feel good about it. Sometimes you may dream that you dive inside the waters, that you explore your emotional nature, and it might either feel quite difficult, challenging, maybe it's dark and you don't see anything, or maybe it's very clear. You may also dream about very rough waters, waves that totally overwhelm you. You may drown in your emotional experience. Waves of water would be a strong emotional experience that may overwhelm you, be very challenging. The waters may come up to your house and put your feet in the water, may be very making you scared of it. However, if you dream that you have this, then you might identify yourself to a wise and old being that feels very comfortable in your emotional nature. What do we have here? You can see a traveler on a horse. You can see that the area is very open and wide. Well, the horse is an animal, a vehicle in a way, that gives you more power. You have 4 legs instead of 2. You can go a lot faster and a lot further. So it's kind of an extension of your human body. A horse would possibly indicate that part of you that is your physical power. Is it strong or is it weak? Your physical power might be in a very exhausted condition. You might start to take care of it.